Every time you touch me, I can't control my body. Oh, baby, you are on my mind. All I think about, and I don't wanna stop.
Thanks for tuning into Conversations with Trent. We will be right back with more conversation after these commercial breaks.
Check out the creative work of the author Trent Williams of www.taylorkennedymedia.com. Chapter of the Delta gives us a peek at his life-changing events. And if that's not enough, Trent tells you more about his brothers and his life through memoirs in his book, The Four Horsemen. His blogs and daily stimulating quotes are published in his book, Life's Little Addiction. And when you have a need of some human coaching of life and relationships, take a look at Conversations with Trent, Volume 1 and 2, and Conversations with Trent, Limited Edition. You will find his works available at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all online book retailers.
From dating to relationships, from sex to love, from Christianity to politics, from darkness to light, you have now entered into the real zone. Welcome to Conversations with Trent, where no topic of conversation is safe from discussion. Now, here he is, Mr. Epic himself, Trent Williams.
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on, beautiful people? Welcome to another conversation with Trent and friends, featuring the lovely Coach Dee. We got a hot one tonight, a real messy one on this messy Sunday, as Coach Dee and I like to call this. You know, I was actually cutting up some tape and editing previous podcasts that Coach Dee and I recorded, and I ran across this one clip, and I was like, wow, she said something that blew my mind. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm just going to play the clip. But tonight's topic is, are you giving up on men? Are you giving up on men? Let me play this thing for you guys so you guys can see it, hear it and see it for yourself. One sec. Agree with that?
Okay. I had one of my, there's a joke going around now that we should all straight women should marry gay men and have platonic marriages.
Wait.
Wait for it. No, it's because they know how to treat women.
Wait, repeat that because I wasn't ready.
I said there's a joke going around now that straight women should marry gay men and have platonic relationships. And I was like, yeah, because it's no power struggle. It's about equality.
You believe in that? You believe in that?
What?
Would you marry a gay man?
It doesn't matter. Men are
bisexual.
You could be bisexual. You could be asexual. You could be pansexual. You could be sapiosexual. Sexuality is fluid. Gender is fluid. I'm not a conservative. Remember that. Never have been. Never will be. I'm a progressive.
Why are you throwing these bricks at me?
Because this is why our relationship would never go further than it did. Is because I believe all people should be able to love who they want. And people are not confused. People know who they are. People know who they are at a very young age.
Now, you know, I've been in the hospital for a couple of weeks and you're throwing these bricks at me. And
what bricks? It's honesty, sir. You've known me for how many years? This is a shock that I think this way? No.
Not 20 years. Yeah.
Listen,
I mean, I know the way you're thinking, but I mean, let's get to Fat Cat Entertainment's comment once. Folks, you heard it for yourself. Out of the horse's mouth, as you say, out of the horse's mouth. So we got her backstage here because I got to thinking, man, are you giving up on men? Are women giving up on men? Let's just be honest and fair. In today's society and today's climate, dating has become very distasteful for men and women. But I want to get down to the root of the problem. I want to get down to the mess. I called a couple of friends up and I shared this clip with a couple of friends, male and female. They had their own thoughts as well. I share that throughout the show. But let's bring Coach Dee and the author of Messy Sundays.
You really like to cherry pick things, don't you? You completely missed the first part of that sentence, which says there is a
you mean
joke.
Cherry pick? What are you talking about? I knew you're gonna have a problem with.
No,
go ahead.
No,
what you say now?
This is why women don't like men, because you don't pay attention. You don't listen to what's being said.
You said it was a joke going around, right?
I said there is a joke going around, which means it's a joke.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, men take that type of stuff serious. When you said it's a joke, like, why would you guys even think about stuff like that?
Because you're not likable. You don't listen and you don't pay attention and blow things way out of proportion. You strap on shoes that you're not supposed to be wearing, which is exactly what you did with the clip. It's a joke. Haha, joke. You don't. Ugh.
So, right, so I got to thinking about that. I got to really thinking about it. Like,
what?
Hold on 1 second. I got Torrance's dog here for the weekend, house sitting this dog and unruly. Go ahead.
Oh, I just said there's a Facebook user who says, "Hey, cuz."
Who's that? Let's see.
I don't know who it is. It just says Facebook user.
Hey, cuz, what's going on? Who is that? Tell me who you are so I could address you, cuz.
Yeah, it's definitely your folks, not my folks. Wendy says, "Good evening, everyone."
Hey, what's going on, Miss Ross?
Yeah.
Good stuff. So, we know, you and I both know that dating is very distasteful between the sexes. Let's get down to the trauma of it all and why is it even a joke that, hey, let's marry gay men because heterosexual men don't treat us right? I'm trying to figure this out.
Because you're not likable, sir. What part of not likable are you having trouble with? Right? Even you didn't even listen to that thing. Like, come on.
So I was talking to a buddy of mine, right? About this topic for tonight, right? And his quote, and I quote him, I'm going to quote him. And I say, hey, man, why do women feel that way? And why do men feel the way they feel about women of today, right? And in his words, I quote, there's no rewards in being a husband or a boyfriend because women don't honor nor respect men anymore. His words, not mine. His words, not mine. He had some valid points. He had some very valid points. There's no rewards in being a husband or a boyfriend these days because women do not honor nor respect men anymore.
Honor and respect.
What's wrong with those words, Dee?
Respect has to be earned. Somehow, somewhere along the way, men have been taught erroneously that because they have a penis, they need to be put on this pedestal where they are higher than everybody else and that they deserve respect and honor and to be catered to.
Not all men. Not all men.
I said, did I specifically give names? No. So I'm using a generalization because mothers have done this, and it's on us because we have raised our daughters and loved our sons.
I mean, has it gotten that bad to where on both sides? I'm not just picking on women tonight. I'm talking about both sides that, I mean, we just don't even like each other anymore.
Men don't like women.
Oh, I love women. I don't know what you're talking about.
Listen, if you guys spend as much time with your wives and girlfriends as you did with your boys, it'd be a whole different game.
I can't relate to that one. I can't relate to that one. I love women. I'd rather spend time with women than men. I love women.
Are you going to constantly strap on shoes? Are you going to constantly strap on shoes you're not supposed to be wearing? Is this going to be the theme of the day? Right?
Knock it
So,
off.
y'all are not likable. As a general, women are tired of having to do all of the mental load.
Here's what I believe. Here's what I believe. There's a lack of communication. There's a lack of communication and there's a lack of accountability. And let's be fair and honest. The majority of women will not hold that accountability guard. Let's be honest
Sir,
now. Let's be honest.
I am being very honest. You're anti-woman the vast majority of the time, which is why we never went further than we did. Because listen to very carefully. When we talk about accountability, women are held to a higher accountability than men ever will be. If a woman
Yeah.
does not know her children's birth dates,
We're
she is a
going to agree
horrible
to
mother.
disagree on that.
Listen, studies have shown it again and again.
Right.
It's called weaponizing competence. Men will walk around, not know their children's birthdays, not know the schools they go to, not know the doctors they go to, and then turn around.
So you're saying,
"Well,
so
how am I
you
supposed to know
women
that?
are
I'm
very
not that."
unappreciative. Appreciated. That's what you're saying.
What's that?
Most women are unappreciated. That's what you're
It's not
saying. They're not
it's not
appreciated.
about being appreciated. Women are carrying a heavier mental load around their homes and their families, and they're tired of it. They're tired of grown men not being able to make their own doctor's appointments. They're tired of grown men not remembering that their child is
So
6.
my question is, are you giving up on men? That's the question for the
No,
audience. Are you giving up on men?
they're
I
giving
mean,
up
at
on
some point, there has to be some type of communication going on.
they're giving
You
up on
can't
low
just
quality men.
throw in a towel. Come on.
They're
Say
giving
again.
up on they're giving up on low quality men. The standards have
Good.
risen, and
And I
men are
agree
not
with that.
rising to
Okay.
the
And
standard.
vice versa. Men are giving up on low quality thinking women.
It's
Let's
not
meet
about
in the
low,
middle somewhere.
sir. I asked the guy in a relationship group that I was
Yeah.
hosting. I was facilitating a dating group of singles 50 and over. And I asked the gentleman, when was the last time you cried? He goes, real men don't cry. And I said, that's why you will remain single. And he looked at me like, what do you mean? I said, you have no emotional intelligence if you tell me that real men don't cry. Because that tells me
Wow.
you're emotionally unavailable and not a safe space.
That's
And
one
all the
guy.
other men
That's
went,
one guy.
wait a second, no, wait for it. The other men in the group all agreed with him. And I said, gentlemen, let me ask you a question. Why do you think you cannot have emotions? And they none of them could answer me. I said, this is the problem right here. Your inability to be able to understand why you
I
can't have
think
emotions.
that
Or why
there's a lot of stuff that we could spread this, stuff around between
I'm
men and women now. We're not gonna just lump it all on the guy's fault. It's always the guy's fault that women feel that way. Come on, we're not gonna do that.
did I just not say I was talking to a very specific group of people and giving you
Okay.
information from that specific group of people? Yes or no?
Okay.
Because I ain't playing games tonight. Yes or no? Did I not refer to a specific group of people? Yes
You
or no?
did say
Okay,
it.
then stop.
Let's get to the comments real quick before you and I.
Oh my God.
As Dee Dee would say, she said, Coach D, put you in your place and tell you about yourself.
Slash
So let's
says,
get to the
Grand Rising Melanie people, greetings, Princess Coach D and Mr. Epic. Slash says, all men are a few good men. Not at all. We have standards from Wendy. It's not all men are a few good men. Here's the problem. And I keep saying it. Men are not likable. And when we point out the problems, the first thing they go is, well, you're not likable either. I'm like, sir, I just told you you are unemotionally available. And that's why you're going to remain single. Because women now require men to be emotionally available. If you cannot fit that one standard, that's not going to happen for you. Because it's now a requirement.
Again, some men are emotionally unavailable. Some men are. There are some good guys out there. There's some good guys out there. But let's get back to this accountability card. I know of several women who lack accountability in their stuff and sitting in their stuff, refuse to pick up their inward mirror. I know several women like that.
Okay.
Several.
I know probably couple of dozen men that are like that. But I'm talking in
Okay,
generality.
so what do we meet in the middle? How do we get to the point where we could have a civil conversation without, cutting each other's heads off? Cooler heads will always prevail.
Here's the thing. Women have raised their standards and men refuse to meet the new standard and instead insist that women come down to them. That's not going
Give
to
me an
happen.
example, D. Give me an example.
I
Give
just
me an
gave
example.
you an example. And then you tried to tell me women need accountability when I was talking about
They
a very
do.
specific
You don't
group
think
of
they
men.
do?
I was
You
talking
don't
about a
think
very
some women need accountability? You think
everyone needs accountability, but that's
they
not what I'm
refuse to
referring
hold that
to.
accountability card, man. They really
Listen,
do.
when you want to talk about accountability, when I'm talking about a very specific group of people that I spoke with, so you want to ignore that what I'm talking about
I'm not
and talk
cherry
over
picking, like, as you say. I'm not cherry picking, but I want to get down to the root cause problem. I want to get down to the problem because we can't keep doing this. We can't keep pointing the finger at men. I'm always saying, I'm always neutral when you come through with your facts. I say, you know what, you're right. I gotta side with you. You're absolutely
Okay,
right.
let me dumb it
But at
down for
some
everybody
point,
then. Let me
what'd
dumb
you
it
say?
down. Women have raised their standards and men refuse to meet them, especially in the over 35 group.
Interesting. Interesting. Interesting.
That's from facilitating relationship groups. That's from talking to being in different coaching relationship groups.
So it's all
We,
men for. That's what you're saying.
we can deny. You know what? You don't
Okay.
want to
Go
listen.
ahead.
You can carry
Continue.
on the
Continue.
conversation by yourself.
Stop it.
Right? This is what I'm saying. You're not listening to what I'm saying. I
Go
have
ahead.
said multiple times that women have raised their standards and men aren't meeting them. That is a generality. Women in general have raised their standards. There's been studies on it. There's been articles on it in men's magazines and women's magazines
I
on
get that,
TV.
but from the folks that I talk to, the guys that I talk to, the distastefulness in their mouth, because women have bitter taste in their mouth. They're always bitter. And bitter for what? If you could actually talk and speak about your bitterness, you can get over the hump.
If you think
But
women are always angry and
if you're
bitter, then they're the
closed in,
problem.
say again there. I'm sorry.
If they think women are always angry and bitter, then they're the problem. It's a common denominator.
They got some bitter women out there. Come on, let's be honest now. Let's keep it a buck. They got some very bitter women out there.
Why are they bitter?
Honestly, probably because they made the wrong decision to picking up the wrong guy.
Okay.
Go figure. I don't know.
No,
Let's get the slash real quick.
women says all women or a few good women are giving up. The example is never the rule. Like 45, there's some good people. Y'all gonna be on your own tonight. Because
No, you come
we're
on
not,
now, D. Come on.
sir, I am not
Let's get
playing it.
to Wendy real
There
quick.
is too much going on in the world for this nonsense. Wendy says women are not always bitter, just like they have very bitter men. Yeah. To get away from the realities of the genocide that's currently happening, I was looking at some
Right.
social media, and there are some men having conversations that are so utterly ridiculous. I went in there and told one man he needs therapy because
What
some of
did
the
he
things
say for
these
you to
guys are
say that?
spouting
What
is
did he say?
disgusting. What?
What did he say for you to tell him he
Oh, he
needs
said I
therapy?
was an angry, bitter black woman. I'm like, okay, I'm an angry, bitter black woman. Sure, that's it.
Here's my point. Here's my point.
Mm.
I believe, my personal opinion, I believe that both sexes are closed off as far as getting to the root cause, getting to the root problem. Both sexes are closed off mentally. There's no communication,
No,
man.
they're
There's no
not closed off.
communication.
They're not closed off. Here's what's happened. During COVID, women were in at home because they were working from home. They weren't out doing the COVID. They took a hard look around at what was going on around them. They took a hard look at the relationships they're in, and they started doing a lot of self work, and things started to change, and standards started to change, and expectations started to change, and conversations started to happen. But here's the problem: when society deems that this is how men are to be treated, and they're supposed to be catered to, and they're supposed to be treated on bended knee and all this stuff, when that switches up, it changes.
Honestly, go ahead.
So there's a pendulum. So the pendulum swings left and right, and it goes. The patriarchy always kept the pendulum to one side. what's happening now is that women are taking control and taking their power. And so that pendulum is swinging. And the people who have had the power, which are men, stereotypically in most societies, have found that they're now losing the power and they don't like it.
Let me
And
give
so
you an
they push
example.
back.
Let me give you an example of a difficult woman, right? So I'm scrolling, looking at videos and all this other stuff, and I run across this one video where this woman went live, right? This guy took her out on a date,
Mhm.
took her to the Cheesecake Factory.
Right.
Everybody, I'm sure, is familiar with the Cheesecake Factory. She refused to get out of the car. She's videoing this. She's
Mhm.
videoing this. At the same time saying, I can't believe he didn't took me to the Cheesecake Factory. Now, she started videoing after he got out the car, went around the car to open her door, a gentleman,
Mhm.
to open her door. And he was like, so what are you doing? And she rolled the window down. She was like, so you just going to take me to the Cheesecake Factory? They're on a first date. Cheesecake Factory. So he's probably going to spend about $1.50. Let's keep it a buck, man. Come on. He will spend about $1.50. I would have left her at the Cheesecake Factory parking lot. This is why guys have a disdain with women like that. I'm not saying all women, but this is why guys feel the way they feel. This is why they have a distaste in their mouth or going even out on a date with a woman like that.
Well, then stop deeming yourselves providers then.
So you mean to tell me it was okay for her to say, I'm not
If
getting out
she
the car
if
because
she if she has a standard and the Cheesecake Factory is below her
maybe
standard,
she needed to
they should
address
have
that before?
they should have communicated that. But had they not communicated, it's a communication error.
Her comment was, do a woman like that looks like me eat at the Cheesecake Factory? Well, you're going to be eating alone tonight, man. She had the right one because I'd have left at the parking lot, period. Gentlemen and all. I called the Uber for her and everything. I'd have paid for the Uber, but she would
See,
have
I would
got
have drove
left.
myself there anyway, so
She would have got left. Let's get to the comment real quick.
Slash says the same women that are on Benedy like Boys to Men, so it's hypergamy in reverse. Wendy, she's a simple-minded chick. She had him waiting for an hour for her to put on that green dress and purple lipstick. I don't know which video it is, so
Yeah, it was ridiculous. I mean, honestly, it was ridiculous to me. It was
Yeah.
ridiculous. Then there's and we're gonna share the guilt around here. So on this other video, guy went to the restaurant. This is over in Atlanta. He took her out for oysters. She wanted oysters or whatever, and she started ordering everything off the menu.
No,
So the
she
guy
didn't. She
left
ordered
her with the
48.
bill. He
I've
didn't
seen
even
that
sit and eat
video.
with it.
She didn't.
Was
She
saying
didn't
that?
order everything. She didn't order everything off the menu. She ordered 4 sets of oysters. Which
Well,
was
you saw the same
$60.
video, right?
Yeah,
So the guy,
$60.
I think he was wrong for walking off.
Hmm.
All it is in a conversation. Let's just say if I took a woman out to eat, right? And okay, I know how much oysters cost. I'm very prepared for this date, right? But if she start, running the tab up, I'm like, hey, listen, let's have a conversation real quick. It's easy to have a conversation with a person. It's very easy. I wouldn't have left her there like that. But let's talk about this. Let's have a conversation. Why are you doing what you're doing? That could lead somewhere else. That conversation can go somewhere else. People are not communicating anymore.
Yeah, but here's the thing: if you're not having conversations, then don't get mad when people do stuff that
I could
when
agree
people
with you.
do stuff that you expect a different outcome if you haven't had a conversation.
I could agree with you. I could agree with that. That's all I've been talking about. That's all I've been talking about all these years. Conversation, communicating.
Yeah, but here's
Conversation and
the thing:
communicating. So that's why I say all the blame doesn't fall on one sexes. It's on both. The people that are not communicating. That's
the
the
topic
issue.
of the conversation is, are you giving up men? I'm telling you why women are not putting up with what they're doing.
I'm listening to you. I
No,
get it.
you're not. You're not. You're not.
I'm getting it. I'm agreeing with some of the flaws that you're talking about.
All right. So here's the thing: if you ask somebody on the date, this is a problem that a lot of women have with dates. Men don't plan things. They don't
I can
plan
agree with
dates,
that.
so they don't have conversations. I know for one, women my age and up, we come prepared to pay for our own date. Like if a
Like you
guy
did,
is
old boy.
yeah, if a guy's annoying me, I will pay for the date and walk, and that's the last you'll hear of me because I don't have time for this nonsense anymore. It's just ridiculous. Right?
Right.
Like at your grown age, there are expectations of behavior that should occur. One of those should be
I
conversations
agree.
about where you're going for a date and what and the expected cost of the date.
This is
Like
where, and
if you can't afford to take somebody out on a date, don't take them out on a date.
I'm agreeing with
Like,
that. And this is where the chivalry has actually gone out the door. Nobody talks and have conversation anymore. They just want to get down to the get down. Let's communicate. Let me know what your likes and your dislikes. So when I'm planning the date, I know exactly what to do and where to go.
hmm.
Nobody's having conversations. Nobody's spending an hour or two on the phone. They don't have time. They don't make time. Let's just say they don't make time. Make
Well,
time for the conversation.
there's a place you can go now. It's called a coffee date. That's why I tell people for the first date, just go for coffee.
Everybody's speed
Keep it
dating.
easy. It's an hour.
Everyone's speed dating.
Yeah,
I want to
because
sit down and have a conversation. Let me talk to you for about an hour or two on the phone, but are you gonna make time for that conversation? Are you gonna make time for me to get in your ear and get
yeah,
in
you
your
can
head and get in your heart?
honestly you
Are you
can
gonna make
really
time?
an hour. It takes a few questions. Most of the time, we can figure if we're somebody we want to spend any time with in an email or a text message.
I'm gonna get a little transparent and personal here real quick. When you and I met,
Hmm.
we spent hours upon hours on the phone. I knew
Yeah,
exactly what to do when you came to the house. I knew what to do. I know what to cook. I know you knew what
yeah.
you
But
you knew what you wanted to do for me. You
remember,
baked.
shall I remind you what I said when you did not get out of
Yeah,
that
I know
car?
about the door and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I know that. But still came over and you still continuously came over.
yeah.
We had a great time together. But the one thing we did do, the one thing that I remember and the one thing that I cherish with you, we had wonderful, great conversation
Yeah,
about
because I don't have
everything.
time for I don't have time to
We
for
we talked
nonsense.
about everything from everything all over the world. It wasn't just a localized thing over there in Detroit or in West Bloomfield where I lived. It wasn't about all that stuff. It wasn't about Toronto. We talked about world of everything. That's what
Sure,
people are lacking these days, man.
that's because I was raised and with some financial privilege. So I was raised with a very well-rounded education who we call them CEO makers,
Right.
right? So we're able to have conversations about everything anywhere. That's the thing. That's why I went to school. I took special
That's it.
classes in it. And
But
people don't
if people
understand
take
how
the
much that did.
time, if people take the time, male and female, take the time to have a conversation and spend time getting to know one another,
Hmm.
then you won't be butting heads. You won't be butting heads. Get to
Yeah.
know one another. Give me
But here's
time
the thing.
to, as the young folks say, give me time. Well, the young folks don't say it. I used to say it years ago. Give me time to tell a fuck you.
But here's the thing. Nowadays, too many, and I'm going to be very general, too many men of a certain age make so many demands, but aren't willing to reciprocate the demands that they make.
I could agree with that.
Right? So, and I'm talking about a very specific age group, and this is like 40 and up.
I
Right?
could agree with that.
So 40 and under, 40 and up, it's very different. When it hits 50, you know, y'all are trouble. You're going to be alone in
Hey,
nursing
watch
homes by
out now. Watch out.
yourselves.
This is the second week you've been throwing bricks at me. What's going on with that?
What? I'm being honest. Unfortunately, I've taken too many relationship courses. Now I'm just like, man,
You
don't
know
ever
what? When
throw
you told
numbers
me you
at
were
me
taking these
because
courses, I should have said no, D, just wait. Because I knew you were going to come weaponize. You're going to come to the platform weaponizing.
yeah, don't
I
give D too
already
much
know. I know you like a
information.
book.
Never good.
Slash has a comment here.
Slash said, did Jada and her Red Table Talks recently have to trade in a relationship goods certificate? I don't know, man. You know what? When it comes to celebrities and what's going on, if it works for them, it works for them, right?
Yeah.
So who
Yeah.
cares? Are they
My
separated? Are
thing
they
with,
living
with
together?
that situation, and I'll address it real quick right here, second, because I spent time in LA in their company with Tisha. And here's the crazy thing about that, right? Will allowed himself to be that way, be treated that way, to be emasculated. Will allow that to happen. So everybody's throwing the punches at Jada, but Will allow that to take place.
What do you mean emasculated?
I mean, the way she talks to him, the way pretty much she taking his heart and sitting on it, period.
Do we
Just
know
the way
that?
just the way she moved with that guy, man, from years ago in the early 90s, with the way she moved. She's always been that way. But here's the thing. He allowed that to happen. If he stood 10 toes down in his masculinity, he wouldn't even be like that.
What is 10 toes down in his masculinity?
10 toes down and be a man about yours. Be a man about yours. Be a gentleman about yours. A gentleman about yours.
But do you know what's going on in the relationship?
She don't respect the guy, man.
People only know what's going on in other people's relationships by what they read in the media. We have no idea what's going on. They could have an open relationship, and this could be everything that's been going on for a while. We don't know that. You know, it's
again.
People expect a heteronormative relationship, one man, one woman, and that's it. But there's so much else going on in the world. Heck, even the Bible had multiple marriages, multiple wives.
Situation just did, and I know that firsthand. That situation didn't just start. We'll leave it at that. That situation didn't just start. It didn't. But let's get back to this, are you giving up on men?
Lots of women are.
Huh?
Lots of women are. She's not likable.
I'm more than sure you talked to a ton of women that.
Here's the funny thing. Then when women call out they're in conversation with specific men and telling them that they're not happy and that this is not going to go further, then men retaliate and tell them, well, you're going to end up living alone with cats. Like, that's a threat. Yeah, there's this threat that women who live alone are unhappy, when statistically it's the exact opposite.
So in your professional opinion,
what?
In your professional opinion, how do we place the train back on the tracks without it derailing again?
Oh, Lord.
You talk about Slash, huh? What are you talking about?
So then the very lady's posting half off or twerking on social media. The man had to chop it up about the itinerary for the evening. This is a microwave generation, so it's dinner and chill. You know what?
He's responding to my comments, my comments on that subject. I have to agree with them.
Of course, yeah. I would expect nothing less.
Hey, come on. Why are you throwing these bricks?
I'm not throwing bricks. I'm just being very honest. I've been in
I appreciate and I love you for that.
Conversations this week. I'm just tired of the nonsense. It's just like, you know what? Y'all aren't listening to what's being said.
So let's get back to it.
So stuck in this, I'm a man. Real men do this. He needs to stand 2 toes down. Come on.
It's not about that. I asked you your professional opinion. In your professional opinion, how do we place the train back on the tracks without derailing again?
Here's the thing.
What do you suggest couples do? What do you suggest?
What I suggest is that there should be equal mental load done at home. If your husband or boyfriend and you have children with them and they do not know the basics, they don't know the school name, the teacher's name, the doctor's name, he needs to do some work.
I agree.
What's about it, right?
I agree. A shared responsibility. I agree about the shared responsibility.
Here's this thing. There are not a lot of women who don't have jobs and come home, right? If you get home before your wife and you're waiting for your wife to come home to cook, she should let you starve because you were home first. You're both working. This whole thing, I help my wife. No, you're not helping your wife. You live there too, fool.
So, again, in my opinion, the disconnect between male and female is communication. Talk it out. But just like Slash said, we go into these microwave relationships. They really don't know each other. They don't know one another. Let's be honest about this now. They don't know one another. If they're microwaving it through their relationship, they don't know one another.
That's what every generation says, though. That's what the last generation said. And
They
people
really don't know one
people
another.
advise people to stay in toxic relationships. Here's the thing. People are in and out of relationships now because now they have standards and they have non-negotiables. And if you break that non-negotiable, that is it. There's no reason for somebody to stay in a toxic relationship. And I applaud people who understand this doesn't work for me and leave, because that's what you need to
Agree.
do.
I don't recommend no one staying in a relationship. Toxic. I'm agreeing with that.
But
But
here's the problem.
when
The
when do we
toxic
stop and
people
have
are
a
the loudest.
conversation?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
The toxic people are the loudest.
I agree. I'm
Those are the
agreeing
ones
with you.
you'll read about on social media. Those are the ones you'll see holding lives on TikTok spouting nonsense. It's the toxic ones. The
I
ones who
agree.
just have relationships that
And
don't
would you
work out.
would you agree that that toxic weighs on sides?
Hmm?
Man,
You're cutting out.
wouldn't you agree that that toxic weigh on both sides, male and
Oh yeah,
female?
I've always said that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
we're not talking about women right now. We're talking about, are you giving up on men? You stick on topic, sir. We can have another conversation. Are you giving up on women?
You're
That's
such a
another
smart
week.
ass. You're
We
such a
can do
smart
that
ass.
next week. But I'm not being a smartass. I'm being honest. And here's the thing: when professional women say X, Y, Z, this is what's going on, men come back with,
Right.
"Oh well, no. Well, what about women?" I'm like, we're not talking about that. We're talking about what you guys need to do to help to understand where women are coming from at this moment.
Okay. I get it. Fair
Right?
enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
So either you
Next
listen or
Sunday
you
we
don't.
can
Up to
do
you.
one for the men. Fair
Okay, how
enough.
about her, man? We'll do that.
Fair,
It's just
fair enough.
it's
Fair enough.
you know
But
what
I
it's
mean, so you said I was cherry picking with that clip. What did I
mhm.
cherry pick on that?
You missed the whole first part of it. You have conversations and you missed the first part about being a joke. Like it's
No,
literally a
it's in
joke.
there. It's in. I left it in there
Yeah, but you didn't discuss it though, did you? You didn't discuss the joke part.
because I was shocked that women even joking about that.
Why wouldn't they?
I
People
mean,
have,
come on, D.
people get married for platonic relationships all the time. People do it all the time. It was literally why people got married previously. Was women were exchange of property, right? So
I get it.
platonic relationships shouldn't be that far a stretch for some people.
Still, come on, man. I, I mean, so I just can't. I can't fathom that. I'm sorry. I
You
can't.
can't fathom people losing
I'm not saying
relationships.
anything against any group. I'm not saying anything against any group. Me personally, I can't fathom a woman marrying a gay guy, completely platonic, and marrying a gay guy because he'll treat her better. I
Oh
don't get
well,
that.
that's why it's called a joke, sir. Because men can't get it. That's why it's completely over your head.
I don't get. I understand why she's saying what she's saying, but I still can't,
Because they
lock
treat
that in.
because they're treated better. That's the funniest part is that when there's no power struggle and
Right.
things are equal, men no
For the
longer
record,
understand how to control things.
for the record, there's
Mm.
still good men out there, and there's still good men who
Oh yeah,
does chivalry. There's still some good
what is
men out there.
chivalry?
Chivalry for me is actually understanding a woman, knowing her wants and her needs, catering to her, and just
That's not
giving her
chivalry.
a soft place to land.
That's not
Giving
chivalry.
her a soft place to land.
That's not chivalry. That's being a good partner.
And what's your definition of chivalry?
I don't have a definition of chivalry because it's a patriarchal construct.
Oh D,
It's true.
oh D, oh
Who? I'll
D.
ask you one. Do you know how I know it's a patriarchal construct? Who are
Go
men
ahead.
protecting women from?
Say again there.
You know how you know it's a patriarchal construct? Who are
Oh,
men protecting women from?
hmm. That's a loaded
Other
question. I'm
men.
not gonna answer. That's a loaded question. I'm gonna let you answer.
But they're protecting them from other men. Men do not. If you held men accountable, here's the thing: every woman knows a woman who's been sexually assaulted or raped. Yet no
I could agree
man
with you. I could
knows
agree with
another
you.
man who has sexually assaulted or raped a woman. That's statistically improbable.
Why you bringing all these loaded questions when you know?
Because you're asking, are you giving up on men? This is one reason why.
Speaking of,
Y'all
you get up on when Slash has a question.
giving up on men, what's the alternative? Living alone.
I wouldn't recommend that either, no, Nati. I wouldn't recommend that. I
Why?
say, I say, if you find
This
a
is
person of interest, you find a person of interest, get to know that person, have conversation, be open to communicate. So you can actually, take away some of those negatives down the road because because you know that person. But you can't be out here speed dating. You can't be out here just running through relationship after relationship.
why not?
Stop
That's how
and
you
take the
find out if
time
people
and get to know somebody.
you I can ask you 4 questions and know right off within 10 minutes if I need to waste my time. And one of them is, when was the last time you cried?
Okay. I get it. I
Right?
get that. I get it. But
So here's the thing. I won't date anybody I have to coach because I
well,
will
you
that's
shouldn't.
it.
I wouldn't recommend that either.
But let's look at the statistics. Single women live longer, happier lives than married women. Single men and married men live longer, happier lives than single men. There's nothing to
Some
gain
men,
for
I'm gonna
women.
slightly disagree with you on that one.
You can disagree, but the numbers say otherwise.
I hear you talking about your numbers, but like right now, right? I'm
Mhm,
single. I'm extremely happy.
mhm.
Extremely happy. When I say happy, extremely happy. But my makeup as a man, I've been this way for a number of years. Or you know that. I don't need anyone to complete me. I'm already complete. I don't need
Did I
that.
mention your name?
No, I'm just speaking to the audience. I'm not talking to you, D. Why
All
you want
right.
to pick a fight with me? I'm still
Because
in recovery. You still want to pick a fight with me? Come on now. Go ahead, D. Go ahead.
because the conversation is, are you giving up on men? And every
I
time I
agree.
tell you why, you tell me why that's wrong. Yet I'm telling you the statistics of why women are doing it. You're proving my point again and again by pretending to not understand what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm
No, you
still going to
don't.
go back
You just
to
said the numbers. You don't. You disagree with the disagree with the numbers.
well, some of the numbers you were talking about. I don't agree with them.
What that women are single women live longer, happier lives than married women, and
Yeah,
married men live longer, happier lives than single men.
I'm gonna let you have it.
What do you mean, let
I'm
me
gonna let you
have them?
have it.
That's what the studies have shown, sir. They've done scientific studies on it.
I agree, but
You want to know
let's
why?
get back. Let's get to the communication part of this, right?
Mm, really?
Exactly.
Okay.
Let's get to the communication part of this. Like I said in the beginning of the show, one of the fondest memories I have with you is communicating on that phone for hours at a time. We
Hmm.
spent a lot of money in international calls because back then they were still charging for those international calls. And that was one of my fondest memories with you.
Yeah.
Spending time talking to you, getting to know you, you getting to know me,
Hmm.
you knowing my likes and my dislikes, I'm knowing your likes and dislikes, you knowing my shortcomings, and I know your shortcomings.
Yeah.
It's because we took time to speak with one another and talk with one another. We took time and spent time. We had set schedules at times when we spoke because you
Yeah.
worked nights at one time.
Hmm.
But we spoke very frequent and it was quality conversation. It was
Yeah.
quality conversation. People don't have quality conversations anymore.
Do you remember one of the very first conversations was though?
Now
When I
you know I
told you
had to bleed on
I
the
have,
brain, so I'm not going to remember.
yeah, I have very strict standards of conversation. If you were unable to hold a conversation, that would have ended it.
I knew that, but
I'm just
but
saying.
apparently I held your attention for a very long time, so it
Um,
was cool. But
and then
that's
I
what I'm
ghosted you.
saying. What'd you say?
And then I ghosted you.
Stop it. Stop it.
So
But
let's go
people
back
are
to
not
why
having
women.
quality conversations anymore, man. They're lacking quality conversations and effective communicating. Just my opinion, but who am I?
Yes, because in general, men do not know how to communicate. In general. I said in
Some men don't.
general, don't you dare strap on those shoes again because it's getting annoying. In general, men have a lack of communication skills when it comes to relationships and women
I could
because
agree with that. I
they
could
have
agree
not
with that. But can you agree with some men? I'm not saying all men, some men. You said in
that's what
general, though, but
general
go ahead.
means, sir. That's what in general
Okay,
means.
go ahead. Go ahead.
So, in general, which means some, not all, in general, men have a lack of communication skills because they
Right.
don't have the emotional intelligence to be vulnerable, to be a safe space, to have those conversations where it allows them to share the worst things that have happened to them, the happiest things that happened to them.
Right. Slash has another comment here.
Sounds like one bad apple spoils the bunch. That is the saying, sir. So, Princess Coach D, have you given up on men personally? No, but I have an extremely high standard that most men cannot reach, and I
Mm,
refuse to lower them.
mm,
So, you either step up or you step away.
mm,
That's all there is to it.
mm.
If my 9-year-old is more emotionally competent and have more emotional intelligence than you do, then you
So
have an
that's
issue.
so that's well, I know that, but you could tell the people that.
Hmm.
So you're saying that emotional intelligence is number one on your list.
Yes. Because if you have emotional intelligence, you have all the other thing that comes with it. You have communication, you have transparency, you have authenticity, you have truthfulness, right? Those
Right.
all
I
are
give you
encompassed
that.
in emotional intelligence. So if you don't have emotional intelligence, you can't possibly have everything else that comes with it,
Okay.
right?
All right.
People like to hear that? No. Am I going to change that? No.
Yeah, but most people struggle with even knowing what emotional intelligence means. So,
Listen, as much as it's spoken about in the last few years, if you are plus 50 and you still refuse to know what emotional intelligence is, then that's by choice. Even my corporate office has emotional intelligence classes and
right.
seminars.
I get it.
So you know what? It's a choice, and if you make that choice, and then you find out that your dating pool is limited because of that choice, you don't be looking around. Look in the mirror. Your dating pool is limited by what you're doing, not by what other people are doing.
I could
It's a
definitely
constant
agree with that
battle,
one.
right? So if you are unable to be um, a good partner, and most women at when they're at a certain age, if you're 40 enough, they know most women will not understand what they're looking for, right? If you're
Right.
unable to fit that list, and it was not a shallow list, it was an actual list of like truthfulness, authenticity, stuff like that. If you
Right.
can't meet those standards, then she's not going to bother with you because those standards are now non-negotiables.
And let's be clear. Let's be clear. And I'm speaking to the audience here. Let's be clear.
Mhm.
Men have standards as well.
Yeah, but we're not talking about men right now. We're talking about women.
I can't wait
I'm
till
being very
next week.
clear on that. I'm keeping you on topic
I know. I can't
because
wait till next week because we're actually going to bring this back to the folks on next week and we'll be talking about men.
yeah.
Have you given up on women? So I can't wait. But go ahead.
Oh yeah, I have the other side of the argument too, so don't be prepared. So here's the thing: if you refuse to effectively listen to hear instead of listen to respond, you're not
Right.
going to hear what women are telling you. And that's a lot of the problem. People, see men all the time. Well, I was listening to her. I'm like, sir, no. You were listening to form the what you're going to say next. You weren't listening
Right.
to
Right. Right.
what she was saying to listen to understand.
Slash got another hot one coming in.
Me personally, every time I log into Facebook, I'm congratulating my friends on long tendered marriage and anniversaries. 90% of communication is nonverbal. Well, congratulate them, but you don't know what's going on within those marriages either. Lots of things look great on Facebook and Instagram,
That's true.
right?
Then the nonverbal thing, and I'll have to agree to disagree with Slash on that one because I'm a conversationalist and I don't read. I'm not a mind reader,
Yeah.
and this is for women. I'm not a mind reader, so I can't. You don't know what I'm thinking, and I don't know what you're thinking. So we have to talk.
Hmm.
We have
Yeah.
to speak with one another.
Yeah.
So
I
that whole nonverbal thing, I don't get it.
there is a percentage of conversation that is nonverbal, but it's not 90%. It's lower than that. I forgot what the exact number is. But here's the thing: you have to be able to pick up on nonverbal cues as well. But here's another thing.
And I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
This is where you pick up on non-conversations when you know that partner, which means you spent time having a conversation with that partner before you guys made a commitment.
Yeah.
Should I say that again for the people?
Yeah. So here's the other thing: that communication is based on people who are neuronormative. So if you're neurodivergent, you have ADHD, ADD, autism, any of the other things that are going on, your ability to pick up social cues may be different.
Right.
Your ability to have communication may be different, right? And a lot of people aren't aware, one, that they are any of these, and two, how to interact with somebody who is. Because, and then if you add any trauma on top of that, the communication styles change.
I could agree.
So you have to truly understand communication in order to understand exactly where somebody is coming from if you don't know their full history.
So it's 3 minutes to the hour. Coach Dee and I will be back on next Sunday with another Messy Sunday. We're going to be talking about the men. Are you giving up on women? And I want to add, we're going to talk about some accountability as well.
Okay, yep.
We're going to talk about some accountability as well.
There was a gentleman that came on the show with his wife, highlight that he was going through a rough patch. He dropped a few Denzel tears, and then she said on the show that she didn't respect it. Yeah, because she's toxic.
She did. Wait, say that one more time. Say that again.
She's toxic. If somebody can't respect somebody that has emotions, then they're toxic. They're part of the problem.
I remember that show, and I remember that brother, and she really did say that on the show.
That, not all women, and we'll discuss that next week, but, if somebody is showing an emotion, they need to be validated in that emotion.
Absolutely.
The only emotion, some men think that the only emotion that men can show is happiness and anger. That's not emotion. That's not humanity. There's happiness, there's sadness, there's frustration, there's anger, there's joy, there's so much more. But if you're not willing to share that with your partner,
in my opinion, man, and this is for men. Like, we've been taught and shown a certain way to where we're stuck in our ways. But there's nothing wrong with being vulnerable with your partner.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with being open, and I'm not just talking open. I'm talking open with your partner. Allowing her to see you. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's a stigma on that. Oh, you're weak if you do that. You're not weak. You're actually strong if you actually open.
Well, that's where we get the raised in love and raised in survival. Right? Somebody raised in love would understand people showing emotion. Somebody raised in survival would not. Because emotions were not allowed.
So let's get to the teachable moment real quick. We've got 2 minutes in to the hour here. Then we'll get out of here, and then we'll get back to next Sunday. Are you giving women?
A teachable moment?
And we're going to be talking about accountability as well. But what's your teachable moment, Coach?
If you want to be likable, listen to the people you're talking to.
Okay.
If you're dating and somebody says the reason they can't date you is X, Y, Z, listen to what they're saying.
And my teachable moment is for both parties, for male and female. Take accountability. Don't wait for your partner to talk about you getting accountability. Take accountability in that relationship, whatever it is. Take the accountability, man. And another thing, as far as communicate, have quality conversations, quality communication, healthy conversations. This is the only way that you're going to get to know a person from the onstart.
Right.
You can't just speed date through life, man. You have to have a quality conversation.
Well, maybe we should have
time to have a conversation.
We should have a show on what communication should look like.
Do that.
Yeah, what communication truly is and is not. But next week we'll do, are you giving up on women?
Good stuff. As always, it's real good seeing the good folks here. No, Coach D and I really appreciate you guys coming along for this ride that we do on this podcast. We really appreciate it. So good stuff. Good stuff. Any closing remarks, Coach D?
Nope. Just pray for all the everything that's going on right now in the world. There's a lot.
Yeah, I really want to talk about that so bad.
We'll do a Wednesday one, but just so everybody knows where I am, from the river to the sea, Palestine should be free.
Absolutely.
Oppressed people everywhere should be free. And
I'm agreeing 1,000% with that. 1,000%. So we'll tape a show on Wednesday.
Yeah,
for Wednesday.
Let's tape a show and we'll talk about the Nakba and we'll talk about the ramifications of Rabin's assassination and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
A lot of people do not know the history of what happened in Israel and why the Hamas is the way it is, and that Israel helped prop up Hamas to counterweight the PLO. So we can have a history class about that and
absolutely.
Maybe educate some folks.
One thing I'll say to the people out there, if you're watching the news, and I know we're going off topic here for a second, but this is very important. If you're watching the news here in the States, you're seeing things one-sided. Yeah. Very one-sided.
Yeah, because remember, there's an evangelical Christian agenda that all the Jews need to be back into Jerusalem so that they can convert to Christianity so Jesus can return. It's the Seven Mountain Doctrine.
We're gonna get off that topic. We're gonna tape it for you guys because they'll actually block us because Coach D had a 24-hour ban, so we're not trying to get these bans going. But you know how these folks are. Let's get to Slash gets the last comment.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Slash says, I give a concrete example and Coach D disregards it, that my good lady was a fact describing my communication skills, which were nonverbal. I saw what was shown. Sir, I didn't disregard your fact. I just said that 90%, I disagree with the number, that 90% of communication is nonverbal. I disagree with the number. That's it. Nobody disregards it.
Just to be clear, you did say that lady was very toxic, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I said that she was. I didn't disregard nothing.
Good stuff,
Anyone who says that somebody's crying has an issue, then they're the problem, not the person shedding the tears.
And we'll end it on that note, folks. So until next Sunday, on another messy Sunday, as Coach D likes to call it.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys on the other side of Sunday. Take care.
Cool. Good night.
Conversations with Trent in conjunction with Taylor Kennedy Media and your radio network would like to thank you for calling in and listening to tonight's episode. We hope that tonight's conversation offended you just enough to turn your mirror inward to come back for more. So until next week's conversation, be epic.